What's up? We got another video today. It's from Logically Answered. From 10 billion to nothing. How Wish.com lost everything. Now, if y'all don't remember Wish.com, it was like this little internet marketplace that was like the Temu. I'm pretty sure it was like Temu before Temu, where everything was like super cheap and all that. That's what I would compare it to. But regardless, let's get into the video. Let's find out how Wish.com got clapped, probably by Temu.
For everyone.
Oh, go ahead and like the video if you want to like and see more stuff like this.
Where ads for the strangest and the cheapest items were on every social media. They were inescapable. Yep. A cat face mask, a chicken helmet, a $10 drone, and stuff that's much stranger. Weird Wish ads became
a $10 drone and stuff that's much
stranger.
Was that Hayden Christensen?
Weird Wish ads became its own subgenre on YouTube.
That's
Yet,
crazy.
The story behind the company might be even stranger. Billions in revenue, Facebook investments, even a secret meeting with Jeff Bezos. It seemed Wish would be the next big thing. But their share price has crashed 99% and has stayed there for years. So, what happened to Wish?
Yo, they didn't want to fold to the corporate machine? Oh, never mind.
Wish was a very strange platform. It was described as the dollar store of the internet, but it's more complicated than that.
Before Temu.
The company's actual name is Context Logic and was founded as far back as 2010. It was started by a former software engineer at Google, Peter Szolzewski, who helped build algorithms for Google Ads. You see, the original idea and why Szolzewski got millions in VC funding was the technology. After leaving Google, he spent 6 months coding software that can predict someone's interests based on browsing behavior and then match a potential product. Keep in mind...
Oh, did they steal him? Did they buy him out? Yo, did they like take his technology, put it into every social media, and then like crash their company?
Was in 2010,
is that what
this
happened?
Technology wasn't nearly as prevalent as it is today. After raising $1.7 million in funding, Szolzewski was offered $20 million from Facebook to integrate the algorithm into their own ad system.
I knew it.
But he turned it down.
Oh yes, that's why they shut him down.
With some of them even storming into Szolzewski's office.
I knew it. I knew it. I was like, yo, he didn't kneel to the corporate machine, so they clapped him. But Temu probably would.
Shouting at him. But he had bigger plans. He pivoted his company to wishwall.me, and it wasn't even an e-commerce site, just a wish list, which promised rewards, free items, and discounts. Users would just browse curated products you couldn't even buy and wishlist items. It was essentially the Instagram of window shopping. People just like scrolling, and somehow Wishwall got a lot of users.
$11,000? What kind of shirt was that?
Scrolling, and somehow it was essentially the Instagram of window shopping.
What?
People just like...
Hold on, men's dress shirts, formal, but what? $11,000? They're joking, right? What kind of shirt is that? And why is it as much? Why is that watch the same price as the shirt? Oh, stretchy wide line. Why is it? What is up with this? This isn't real, right?
Trolling, and somehow Wishwall got a lot of users. Szolzewski realized he was onto something, so he began cold emailing dozens of merchants, offering them a massive pool of buyers if they could cut the price by 10 to 20%. The most shocking part is that Wish wouldn't take a commission, and to his surprise, many suppliers agreed. Wish quickly became one of the biggest marketplaces on Earth, but was essentially a glorified middleman. The products came from low-cost manufacturers in China, and Wish handled none of the inventory or fulfillment. But still, why not take a cut? They were introducing millions of customers to these products after all. Well, Wish was on the typical tech startup roadmap. Get as many customers as possible, chase growth, and figure out profits later. Many do this to position themselves.
Huh? That didn't even make sense from a like. That didn't even make sense from like a business standpoint. From a money standpoint, it makes sense, but it doesn't from like a business standpoint. What are you talking about? Get as much people as possible, and then figure out the profits later. Because now you're gonna be figuring out the profits in a shady way.
Themselves for
Okay.
an acquisition, so they can grow a company, spend a lot of investor funding, and they all get a big payout. But not Wish, which gives us one of the most baffling decisions from Shulzevsky. Wish was growing fast, and in 2016, he was invited to a secret meeting with Jeff Bezos at the Amazon headquarters.
And he
We don't
wanted to
know
buy him out.
exactly what happened because he had to sign an NDA, and there were plenty of lawyers present, which paints a pretty clear intention: an acquisition. Josefsky said that there was an agenda to the meeting. With Wish's amazing technology, they wanted in. It was rumored the offer was $10 billion. For added context, Bezos was Josefsky's idol. This was the perfect opportunity. But despite all that, something unexpected happened.
He said no?
Josefsky turned down the offer. He told Bezos he had no intention of selling Wish. But Amazon wasn't the only one ready to buy. The Chinese giant Alibaba was also interested
Would
and
they offer him
offered the
double?
same price, $10 billion.
Oh, 10.
To make things even more interesting, Wish was only valued by investors at $3 billion. So these were definitely good offers. So why turn it down? Well,
He wanted to
sometimes
maintain
founders have
integrity.
a grander vision and think they can grow beyond the offer. Snapchat was offered $3 billion by Facebook, and while they didn't grow as big, they have grown much bigger with a market cap of $15 billion and are now profitable. So what about
No, they're
Wish?
profitable. Wow.
Well, according to an insider, Josefsky thought he could grow his startup to at least $100 billion in gross sales, or 1/4 the revenue of Walmart. If he could, Wish would be worth much more than $10 billion. Very ambitious, and to his credit, things
so he was
began to
just
take off very
ambitious.
soon. Wish's revenue grew and grew. In 2018, it doubled to $1.9 billion, putting its valuation at $8.7 billion,
not
and it was
bad.
the most downloaded shopping app worldwide. Their user count was going up, and that year they passed 400 million users and became
Wow.
the third biggest e-commerce marketplace in the US by sales.
Wow. After
In
Amazon and
fact,
eBay, right?
every year they were adding 100 million users. In 2019, Josefsky said to investors that they should expect an IPO in the next 1 to 2
an
years.
IPO.
And sure enough, the momentum continued. Wish raised another $1.1 billion in their IPO, pushing their total value to $14.1 billion. Wish was riding high, but pretty soon that was about to change.
What happened? No stability? The ad trap.
Just like Wish gamed the ad system to flood your feed with junk, the news you see every day is shaped by similar algorithms designed for engagement, not truth. That's why I use today's sponsor.
Ground news.
Sources
Appreciate you.
named it without
Ground news is solid, I think.
for support. 3-day 6-pack cream, a cat time to talk about those. Thank you to Ground News for supporting our videos. This is a good time to talk about those strange Wish ads. 3-day 6-pack cream, a cat mask, a USB-powered pregnancy test. Ads for the weirdest products were everywhere. So, why? This is what Wish was good at. The algorithms could match.
Hold on, bruh. Why are we using a USB powered pregnancy test? First of all, why would you need it as a USB? Why would it be something like trendy and cute to keep around? Like, ha ha ha. Oh, look at this pregnancy test. Ha, just plug it in. What? Why are you using it so often? I guess maybe as like a check if you're like really active.
Products to users based on their browsing behavior.
I
But
don't know, bro.
here's where things got a little weird. Browsing behavior can mean a lot of things. So, strange ads that you can't help but stop and look at or even click, which tells the algorithm those were succeeding ads, pushed them even further. Wish's ad campaigns were optimized to drive traffic and clicks, not necessarily
sales.
conversions. So, why were these ads everywhere? Wish was spending big money on digital ads. In fact, they were
What was that?
big money on these ads everywhere. Wish was spending big. So
What
why were
was
these ads
that?
everywhere? Wish was spending big money on
Bro.
digital ads. In fact, they were the largest ad spender on Facebook and Instagram, and one of the biggest on Google.
Okay.
Wish was growing very fast, but there was a big problem underpinning all of this growth.
What's
Wish
that?
wasn't profitable. You
Makes
might
sense.
think, sure, they were chasing growth, but there's unprofitable and then there's Wish. Their profit margins were negative
Minus
100%.
Yeah, because you're just pushing
Negative
slop,
100.
right?
For every $1 they earned,
They
spent
lost $100.
$2. So the more their revenue
Or they
went up,
lost. I'm
the
tripping.
further
They spent
down their
two.
earnings went. Sure, they had billions in funding, but pretty soon they needed to figure out how to make a return.
Yeah, because like people are looking at this stuff. It's just like driving slop, basically. It's like not stuff people actually want to buy, especially because it's so niche too. I feel like maybe he didn't understand like what the actual value of what he was doing was, and it wasn't actually the products. I don't think. I think it was like how the products were being integrated, the technology behind it. That's what I think the value in it was. I don't think he saw that.
But time was about to run out with what came next.
We have a new name for the coronavirus. The World Health Organization has officially called it COVID-19.
While everyone was stuck inside it, retail and physical businesses were dying, but
So why
online
didn't
shopping
Wish go up?
exploded. But isn't that good for Wish? Well, not exactly. You see, digital ad spend quickly went up. More and more companies began pouring money
BookBaby.
into online advertising,
I've
as
seen
this
BookBaby
was the
ads.
only way to
I was thinking
advertise to
about
new
using it for my
customers.
book.
Competitors were pouring into Wish's marketing strategy, or rather, their only strategy. On Google Ads and Facebook ads, when more companies are bidding for keywords, the price of that keyword goes up. Now, imagine that on a global scale. Wish's unique and frankly only strategy was falling apart. They were already unprofitable when ad spend was good. Now the return on ad spend was even worse, meaning it was the perfect storm. In 2020, Wish reached a revenue peak of $2.5 billion, but that marked their biggest loss, over $600 million. Then, for the very first time, Wish's sales began to drop by $500 million in 2021, then by another $1.5 billion in 2022. It's very funny if you compare their revenue and profit, because of their negative margins, it looks as though Wish makes more money the less revenue they make. But to make matters worse, there was another problem.
How is that?
People weren't loyal to Wish. They were loyal to the deals and absurd prices.
Exactly.
It's hard to build loyalty on price compared to, say, a unique experience like Amazon's incredible fulfillment and fast delivery. Customers will just leave when they find something cheaper like Temu. And
yeah.
if they don't, they will because of the horrendous customer experience. When I said they prioritize growth over everything, I mean everything. It probably won't surprise you to hear that Wish was full of scams. Smart TVs for $1, gaming
$1,
computers for
bro.
$1.30. Scam stores were rampant.
That can't be real, bro. Yeah, that has to be a scam, bro. A gaming PC for $1, bro. I mean, technically it could if it was just somebody that just had a lot and they just were like, I'll just put it up there, you know?
On Wish. One person who ordered a $70 tablet received a small stand and a note
There's no
in
reason to
broken
believe
English
that it couldn't be the case, but like, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, you know, it's the internet, so you don't know.
saying it was coming. Of course, it never did. Many of these scams sold real products, brought in a lot of 5-star reviews, then swapped out the same product for a terrible cheap replica.
What was that? Why even go through the trouble of making that? Why don't you just put rocks in the box, bro? What is that on the thing, bro? Is that an Amazon smile, bro? Nobody's rocking those. What if those became an antique item, though, later? The scam, Wish Jordans?
In order to scam customers and to make a return. But this is where things take a darker turn. One of them was called
It'd be like an
Best
NFT.
Deal 9, which was created by Wish themselves. They had created this fake store to track whether customers would complain if their orders never arrived. Employees working on the
What?
project pushed executives to remove the store, calling it unethical and illegal. But it remained active for months, and over 213,000 people made purchases from the store. And that's just one tiny example. To make matters
What?
worse, unlike Amazon, Wish had virtually zero customer support. So if you got scammed, you needed to
There's
wait
no
over
one you
3
can
months
talk to.
before you could even appeal for a refund. This might be expected from some shady marketplace, but Wish was a multi-billion-dollar company, yet they had zero
I
concern
never
for
took. I don't know. It was just me personally speaking. I've never taken Wish seriously, no matter how much I think they made or anything like that. I've never taken them seriously. I always saw it as like a site where you could go and like find like random stuff for low prices, right? And then you're probably gonna get scammed if you're not like buying from a reputable seller on there. That's just how I always saw it. I never like put my trust in them like, oh, but it's wish.com. They would never let me down. No, it was never like that. I always saw it for, hey, you might get scammed on there. I never thought they were that reputable. I never even saw them as big as they were. I just thought they were like a 10-minute TikTok thing that just went on for a while.
customers. These scam stores were everywhere, and after a while, people were simply done shopping on Wish. Wish began to finally introduce some accountability. In 2022, the company said it had started a fresh organizational chapter. Some new executives had just joined from Google and Shutterfly and began to make some changes. An app
is that?
redesign was underway, and they tried to improve the response time of customer service. But it was too little, too late. People had moved on, the brand was already tarnished, and many customers had moved elsewhere. In September 2022, a competitor would appear in Wish's territory.
Oh, it's over.
Temu.
Yeah,
They were a
Timo
new
clapped him.
company, but by no means a small player. They were backed by
Yeah.
the Chinese giant Pinduoduo, which had a market cap of $170 billion. Temu had much, much more money, basically infinite, and just 5 months after launching, Temu ran
Steam
2
Deck
ads
and the search bar is
basically
crazy on Temu. Nah, nobody getting a Temu Steam Deck, bro. Is that possible? Wait, hold on. Let's go to Temu real quick. I actually want to see if you can get a Steam Deck on Temu. Ain't no way. The Temu Steam Deck is crazy work. There's no way. Oh, okay, you can, but it's just a regular price one or more expensive. I think a regular Steam Deck is like $500, isn't it? 400 to 500. Oh, you get the Asus ROG Ally. $51. What is this? Handheld, portable. What? What is this? Portable 5-inch IPS screen. What is this though? What does it do? Nah, this can't be real for real. This gotta be fake for real. What is it? What does it play on it? Good graphics. Not me actually looking at this thing. This has to be fake for real. $51. What does it even do though? IPS screen? Do you have to put like an operating system on it yourself? This doesn't tell me anything about what this is. I would have to assume that it's fake. Yeah. It doesn't tell me anything about what this is, bro. But okay, let's go ahead and get off of there. Temu Steam Deck.
And
LOL.
just 5 months after launching, Temu ran 2 ads during the 2023 Super Bowl. This made Temu the youngest brand to ever run a Super Bowl ad.
Yeah,
It
they
was
blew
Wish,
up quick.
but better, more legit, more
Yeah.
resources, and direct from suppliers. Wish, on the other hand, had been losing money for over a decade and were beginning to run out. Hundreds of employees were being laid off, and revenue was in freefall, and their share price would fall over 99%. Their monthly active users fell from over 100 million in 2020 to just
Dang.
12 million. That year, they only saw 5 million new signups, compared to the annual 100 million from a few years ago.
Ooh.
Around this time, Josefsky stepped down as CEO as investors were getting tired, and soon came the inevitable. In early 2024, Context Logic sold Wish for $173 million to the Southeast Asian e-commerce company Q10. Pitiful compared to their original $10 billion offer, but it was the right time to sell, or rather, their last chance to sell.
Yeah, you're
The
gonna say
acquisition
you
was
can't
at
be selling at zero.
$6.50 per share, a 44% premium, which in their circumstance was actually pretty good. With Temu growing, the buyout offers would only get worse and worse. I should also note, Q10 themselves would end up going bankrupt by the end of 2024.
That's crazy.
I'm sure Zolzewski wished he took the $10 billion from Bezos or Alibaba. Wish hadn't scaled for sustainable or long-term success.
Not at all.
Just growth by any means necessary.
Yeah, if he
Growth
would have
without
taken
loyalty
the
or
10 bill, he could probably
profits.
start a different
But
company that
I
would have
will
been way
note,
better.
it was just Wish that was sold, not Context Logic. Context Logic was still independent, so what happened to them? Well, Wish was a money sink, and when it went, so did many of their liabilities. Context Logic is now a very different company, much smaller and no longer an e-commerce company at all.
What does it do?
In Q1 of 2025, Context Logic reported a net loss of $4 million.
Okay.
Not good, but much better than the $59 million they lost the same time last year. It seems they're still trying to figure out what to do. They have $2.7 billion of net operating loss carryforwards, which means they don't need to pay taxes on future profits for a long time. That is, if they even make money again. The board said they were looking for a financial sponsor to help the company realize the value
It's
of
like
its
the
tax
biggest wash sale of all time.
assets, and if they can't, return all capital to shareholders. If I were to make a bet, it would be on the latter.
That's what I'm
Josefsky
saying.
now owns a new venture called Maggie Inc., but
What is
it
that?
seems he's staying away from the public eye and
Oh, AI.
e-commerce altogether. Since 2017, we've published over 1,050 videos and racked up 156 million views. Yet, somehow, we still haven't reached 1 million subscribers. That conversion rate is even worse than Wish's negative 100% margins. If you've
Hey,
been
I'll
watching without
subscribe, bro.
subscribing, I would really
This is
appreciate
my first
it
video
if you
by
hit the
you, I'm
subscribe
pretty
button
sure.
so that we can finally make 1 million a reality. But
got you,
until
bro.
then, I'm Hari, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Hey, I got you, bro. Don't say less, man. Say less, young Hari. That was a great video. With that being said, what do y'all think about Wish? Did y'all ever buy anything from Wish? Did I ever buy anything from Wish? I want to say, like, I don't think I did. I think I looked at it. I don't think I actually ever bought anything from there. I don't actually think I did. But yeah, let me know what y'all think down in the comments. That's going to be it from me. Go ahead and like the video if you liked it. Go ahead and sub if you want to see some more. Go ahead and sub to the man Logically Answered as well. And I'll catch you guys later. Bye.